Welcome back, coin collectors and enthusiasts. Today, we have a truly special coin to discuss, the 1949 Lincoln cent without a mint mark. It's a penny that's been around for decades, but its value has skyrocketed in recent years. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just beginning your collection, you won't want to miss this video, as we explore why this coin is worth more than just 1 cent. Let's start with the basics. The 1949 Lincoln cent features the classic design we all know, President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But what sets this particular coin apart is the fact that it was minted in 1949 without a mint mark. So, what's the big deal with a missing mint mark? Well, every year, the U.S. Mint produces coins in various locations across the country, each with its own mint mark, like D for Denver or S for San Francisco. But in 1949, many pennies were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which didn't use a mint mark for coins produced there. This means that the 1949 penny without a mint mark is often considered rarer than its marked counterparts. But let's talk about the real reason this coin has caught the attention of collectors: its incredible potential market value. As with any coin, the value of a 1949 penny depends on its condition. A circulated coin might only be worth a few dollars, but when it comes to uncirculated or high-grade examples, that's when things get interesting. According to the experts, an uncirculated 1949 penny without a mint mark can fetch anywhere from $20 to $50, depending on its quality. But that's just the start. When you reach higher grades, like MS 65 or above, the price skyrockets. A coin graded at MS 65 or higher has been known to sell for several $100s. And the absolute best examples, those pristine coins with perfect detail, can be worth thousands. But wait, there's more. In rare cases, especially when a coin is tied to an exceptional provenance or even a well-known collector, the value of the 1949 Lincoln cent without a mint mark can reach levels most would only dream of. Some collectors have paid over $10,000 for a flawless example. But the real jaw-dropper? Certain sales have reached beyond $100,000 for top-tier coins. In fact, there have been instances where auction houses have sold pristine examples of this coin for an astonishing price, pushing its value into the six-figure range. And, while it's incredibly rare, there's even talk of some 1949 no-mint mark pennies being worth millions. But how can that be possible? Let's break it down. The $1 million value is reserved for coins that are virtually flawless, with perfect strikes, no signs of wear, and impeccable condition. Coins like these often come from well-preserved collections or even those that were hidden away for decades. Because they are so rare and in such pristine condition, they can fetch astronomical prices in private sales or auctions. So, why does a coin that was once only worth 1 cent hold so much potential for future gains? It's simple: scarcity, demand, and historical significance. The 1949 penny without a mint mark holds a certain mystique in the world of coin collecting, and that combination of factors can lead to immense value, especially in the world of high-end collectors and investors. But the appeal of the 1949 no-mint mark penny goes beyond just its rarity and potential for profit. For many collectors, it's the history behind the coin that makes it so valuable. The 1949 penny represents an important chapter in American history and numismatics. It's a piece of our past, holding both sentimental and financial value. Now, let's hear from you. Do you own a 1949 Lincoln penny without a mint mark? If so, do you think it might be worth more than you initially thought? Drop a comment below and let us know your thoughts and experiences with this iconic coin. And, as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more coin-related content. We're diving into a truly fascinating coin, the 1960 Lincoln penny. If you've ever wondered whether your old pennies might be worth more than their face value, you're in the right place. Let's uncover the story behind the 1960 Lincoln penny, its current market value, and whether it could be worth a cool $1 million. First, let's talk about the basics. The 1960 Lincoln penny was minted in Denver during a year that saw a lot of changes for the U.S. Mint. The mint mark D on this penny stands for the Denver Mint, where these coins were produced. At the time, the US was in the midst of a post-war boom, and people were using these pennies in their everyday transactions. As you can see, this penny features the image of President Abraham Lincoln, a design that was first introduced in 1909 by sculptor Victor David Brenner. The 1960 D penny, like its predecessors, weighs 2.5 grams and has a copper content of 95%. Now, when it comes to the value of the 1960 D Lincoln penny, things get interesting. In most cases, you'll find these pennies in circulation, and they're typically worth only 1 cent. But, like many coins, condition and rarity play a huge role in its value. A typical 1960 D penny in poor condition, or what we call circulated grade, might be worth anywhere from 1 cent to 5 cents. Not much more than that. However, the real value comes when you have a high-quality, well-preserved coin. A 1960 D penny in mint condition can be worth around $1 to $3, depending on the specific quality. Coins that are graded uncirculated or MS-65 or higher, meaning they have hardly any wear or imperfections, can command a price of $10 to $15. And that's when we start seeing real value emerge. However, the true value of the 1960 D penny skyrockets when it has a rare minting error or a variety. One of the most famous errors associated with the 1960 D penny is the double die obverse variety. This error occurred during the minting process, where the die used to strike the penny doubled the image of Abraham Lincoln. If you find a 1960 D penny with a noticeable doubling in Lincoln's portrait, his name, or the date, you could have a real gem on your hands. Coins with this error are highly sought after by collectors and can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on the condition and clarity of the doubling. Coins with this error can fetch anywhere from $200 to $1,000 or more, and in extreme cases, if the coin is in near-perfect condition, it could break the $10,000 mark. Yes, that's right, you might have a hidden treasure just waiting to be discovered. So, what about that $1 million price tag? Is the 1960 D Lincoln penny worth $1 million? Well, the simple answer is, not quite. However, there have been some incredibly rare coins in history that have sold for millions, and while the 1960 D isn't likely to reach those astronomical numbers, you can still make a substantial profit if you're lucky enough to find the right one with a rare minting error. To give you an idea, some of the most valuable Lincoln pennies ever sold are in the range of hundreds of thousands to over $1 million, but they are much rarer than a 1960 D. For example, a rare 1909 SVDB penny, another Lincoln design, has fetched upwards of $2 million. But that doesn't mean the 1960 D penny isn't valuable. If you happen to find one with a major minting error or in perfect condition, it could still bring you a great return. In fact, rare coins like these are often seen as solid investments that can appreciate over time. So, how can you tell if your 1960 D Lincoln penny is valuable? Here are some tips. First, make sure it has the D mint mark. If it's a plain 1960 penny with no mint mark, then it was made in Philadelphia and won't have the same potential value. Check for wear and tear. The higher the grade, the more valuable it could be. A coin in uncirculated or near-perfect condition is worth significantly more than one that's been in circulation for decades. Keep an eye out for doubling, off-center strikes, or any other minting errors. These can drastically increase the value of your coin. If you think your 1960 D penny might be worth something special, get it graded by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. A higher grade can make all the difference in the value. To wrap it up, the 1960 D Lincoln penny may not be $1 million coin just yet, but with its unique history and potential for rare errors, it can certainly hold some serious value. Whether you find one in your pocket change or have a collection at home, it's worth taking a closer look at your 1960 D pennies. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1960 D Lincoln penny, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you never miss a coin collecting video. Got a 1960 D penny or another coin you think might be worth a fortune? Drop a comment below and let me know. We're going to be talking about one of the most iconic and sought-after pennies in American history, the 1964 D Lincoln 1-cent penny. If you've ever wondered how a coin from over half a century ago could be worth thousands, or even millions, you're in for a treat. So grab your magnifying glasses and get ready to dive into the details of this remarkable penny, its history, and its current market value. Let's go. First, let's talk a little about the history of the 1964 D Lincoln penny. The penny itself is part of the Lincoln Memorial Series, which was minted from 1959 all the way to 2008. This specific coin was struck during a very interesting period in U.S. history, right at the tail end of the 1960s. 1964 was a transitional year in American coinage, with the country facing increasing demand for coins due to the economic boom post-World War II. It was also the year when the U.S. Mint produced the highest number of pennies in a single year, more than 1.8 billion pennies in total. Now, you may be asking, what makes the 1964 D penny so special? Well, the D mint mark, which stands for the Denver Mint, is what sets this coin apart from its Philadelphia counterpart, which lacks a mint mark. The 1964 D penny was produced alongside millions of others, but it's rare varieties of this coin that make it worth something extraordinary. So, what makes a 1964 D penny valuable? Most 1964 D pennies are worth only a few cents above face value. But some of them, especially those with rare minting flaws, can be worth thousands, even millions. The key to understanding the value of the 1964 D penny is to look at the details. There are a few known varieties and errors that collectors look for, including the famous double die obverse or RPM, repunched mint mark. One of the rarest and most valuable versions of the 1964 D penny is the 1964 D double die obverse asterisk penny. This rare error occurs when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned, causing a doubling effect on the lettering and the date. The doubling is most noticeable in the word Liberty and the date 1964. If you come across one of these, it could fetch you anywhere from a few hundred to a few $1,000s, depending on its condition. However, in mint condition, some examples of the 1964 D double die obverse can be worth as much as $10,000 or more. Now, let's talk numbers. How much is a 1964 D penny worth in the current market? As I mentioned, most 1964 D pennies are worth around 2 to 5 cents, if they're in circulated condition. But, the ones with rare errors and unique features can see values skyrocket. Here's a breakdown of what you can expect for different types of 1964 D pennies in various conditions, can fetch upwards of $500 to $1,000, depending on their condition. But remember, condition is everything. If a coin is in mint state, meaning it has no scratches, no discoloration, and sharp, clear details, its value can increase dramatically. And now, you might be wondering, can a 1964 D Lincoln penny be worth $1 million? Well, in the world of rare coins, anything is possible. There have been legendary sales of rare pennies, but a 1964 D penny that's in perfect condition, with a double die or a unique error, could potentially be worth millions in the right market. For example, a rare 1964 D double die obverse penny, graded at a perfect 65 by PCGS, could attract bids in the six-figure range at auctions, depending on collector demand. And who knows, in the future, as these coins become even more difficult to find in high grades, their value could shoot up into the $1 million territory. So, is a $1 million 1964 D penny possible? Absolutely. But you'd have to find one with perfect rarity and a collector market willing to pay top dollar. Still, it's a reminder that even a simple penny can be worth far more than its face value. Now that you know what to look for, how do you find one of these rare 1964 D pennies? The first step is to inspect your pennies carefully, especially if you have a large collection or inherited a jar of old coins. Look for the obvious signs of doubling or mint mark errors. If you think you found a rare version, have it professionally graded by a reputable company like PCGS or NGC. They'll assess the coin's condition and certify its authenticity, which can dramatically increase its value. If you believe your coin is worth big money, consider selling it at an auction or through a reputable dealer who specializes in rare coins. They'll be able to get the best price for you. So, that's a wrap on today's deep dive into the 1964 Lincoln penny. Who knew that this humble little coin could have so much history and value packed into it, right? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you've got any questions or if you've got your own 1964 pennies, drop them in the comments, I'd love to hear about them. We're diving deep into the world of the 1967 Lincoln cent. Yes, you heard that right, a coin that could be sitting in your pocket right now, and it's worth far more than you might expect. We're going to break down its history, rarity, and the current market value of this special 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny. So, grab your magnifying glass, hit that subscribe button, and let's get into it. The year 1967 was a pivotal time for the U.S. Mint. The U.S. was in the middle of the 60s era, a time of cultural shifts, political changes, and interestingly, coin production shifts as well. But what makes the 1967 Lincoln cent truly stand out? It's the fact that it has no mint mark, which is pretty rare, especially for a coin that's so close to the modern era. Now, let's talk about the mint marks for a second. Most coins have a mint mark that indicates where they were struck: Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. However, 1967 was one of those years when the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia didn't add a mint mark to some of its coins, including the Lincoln cent. That means if you have a 1967 penny without a mint mark, it's from the Philadelphia Mint, and that's important for coin collectors. 1967 marked a shift in coin production due to a change in materials. The U.S. Mint had started using a higher percentage of copper in the pennies, which gave it a slightly different feel than earlier pennies. This, combined with the absence of a mint mark, makes it a rarity for collectors who focus on minute differences in coinage. So, what makes the 1967 Lincoln cent so highly sought after? It's not just about the no mint mark, but the general interest in coins from this era. The mid-60s saw some fascinating shifts in U.S. coinage, and the 1967 Lincoln penny is a prime example of this era's unique characteristics. Alright, let's talk numbers. The 1967 no mint mark Lincoln cent is not worth just 1 cent. In fact, its value can go far beyond its face value, especially depending on its condition. In general, a 1967 Lincoln penny in average circulated condition is worth anywhere between 10 to 50 cents. Hold on though, because it gets interesting. If the penny is in excellent condition, uncirculated, or even has some rare mint errors, its value skyrockets. We're talking up to $10 or more for a nice example. But here's the crazy part: graded versions, like those that are certified by professional grading companies such as PCGS or NGC, can fetch between $50 to $100, depending on the grade. If your 1967 Lincoln cent is one of the rare ones with a major error, such as double dies or an off-center strike, it could be worth significantly more. We've seen these types of coins sell for several $100s at auction. Still, what's really mind-blowing is the potential for this coin in today's collector market. A well-preserved 1967 penny with zero wear and tear can be a real gem in the eyes of serious collectors. Now, let's take a look at the high-end market. While the 1967 Lincoln cent typically hovers around the lower hundreds, there have been rare sales of graded and error coins that have gone well beyond the typical price range. At the top end of the market, some auction houses have reported rare 1967 Lincoln cents being sold for $1,000 or more, particularly if the coin is in mint condition, certified by top grading companies, and has an error that makes it unique. That's right, a single penny worth $1,000. And this is not a one-off. The growing interest in rare coins, especially those from the mid-20th century, means that the value of the 1967 Lincoln cent will only continue to rise, especially for top-tier examples. Now, you might be wondering, where can I find a 1967 Lincoln penny, and how do I know if it's worth more than 1 cent? Well, there's a good chance you might already have one in your coin collection, or perhaps tucked away in a drawer somewhere. First things first, look for the mint mark. A lack of it means it was made in Philadelphia. Next, inspect the condition of the coin. Is it well preserved? Does it have any noticeable errors? Take a closer look for things like double strikes, off-center punches, or unusual wear. These can significantly boost its value. So, to sum it up, the 1967 Lincoln cent, particularly the no mint mark variety, might just be worth more than you think. While a typical penny from that year is worth only a few cents, well-preserved or error-struck coins can fetch hundreds or even thousands at auction. If you find one of these rare pennies in your collection or while going through your change, it might just be time to have it appraised. That's it for today's deep dive into the 1967 Lincoln cent. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and share it with your fellow coin collectors. And don't forget to subscribe for more tips and valuable coin insights. Until next time, happy collecting. We're going to take an in-depth look at the 1970 Lincoln 1-cent penny, one of the most fascinating coins out there. You might be thinking, wait, a penny? How can it be worth a fortune? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll be amazed at the hidden value of this coin, and who knows, maybe you've got one sitting in your jar right now that's worth thousands, or even $1 million. The 1970 Lincoln penny was minted in Denver and features the classic Abraham Lincoln design. It's part of the famous Lincoln series, which has been in circulation since 1909, making it a key piece for collectors and numismatists alike. On the obverse, you'll see a portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. On the reverse, the familiar E pluribus unum and 1 cent are inscribed, surrounded by wheat stalks in the traditional wheat penny design. Now, the 1970 may look like any other penny, but it's actually one of the most intriguing pennies in circulation, and not just because of its age or design. So, what makes it special? Well, it's the mystery behind certain 1970 pennies that truly sets them apart. Let's dive into the reason why some 1970 pennies have made headlines in the coin market. You see, during 1970, there was a significant error that caused a small number of these coins to be struck without a mint mark. This mistake is incredibly rare, and it's often referred to as the 1970 no mint mark penny. Coin collectors call these error coins varieties, and they are highly sought after in the numismatic world. But how rare are these pennies? Well, estimates suggest that there are only around 20 to 30 known examples of the 1970 Lincoln penny without the mint mark. Because of this extreme rarity, these coins can be worth tens of thousands of dollars in the right condition. In fact, a 1970 penny with no mint mark recently sold at auction for more than $40,000. Now let's talk about the market value of the 1970 penny. As with any collectible, condition plays a huge role in determining its worth. A regular 1970 penny in average condition is worth only its face value of 1 cent. But, when you get into higher grades like MS 65 or above, the value starts to rise. A 1970 penny in mint state can be valued at anywhere from $5 to $20, depending on its condition. However, if you find a 1970 penny with no mint mark, in mint condition, we're talking serious money here. As I mentioned, recent sales have seen this error coin go for upwards of $40,000 to $50,000 in certain auctions. In extremely rare cases, like a perfectly graded coin with no mint mark, the value can easily push towards the $100,000 mark. Now, we're talking about the real dream. Could the 1970 Lincoln penny be worth $1 million? It's a long shot, but anything's possible in the world of rare coin collecting. If an incredibly well-preserved, perfectly graded example of the 1970 D no-mint mark penny were to be found, and it made its way to the right auction house, you could imagine a bidding war among wealthy collectors and investors. In theory, a coin like this could hit that magical seven-figure price tag. After all, coins like the 1933 St. Gaudens double eagle have made millions at auctions, and who's to say that a pristine, error-filled 1970 D penny couldn't one day do the same? Alright, let's say you think you found a potential goldmine. How do you know if your 1970 D penny is worth something? First, make sure you check the mint mark. If it's missing, you may have found one of the rare 1970 no mint mark pennies. But even with the mint mark present, there are other ways to determine the value of your penny. Check the condition closely. A coin with no visible wear, sharp details, and bright, shiny surfaces could be considered a high-grade coin. Also, check for any noticeable errors or imperfections in the die. These can add even more value to your penny. So, you found that rare, valuable 1970 D penny, but where do you sell it? Well, your best option is to consult with a professional numismatist or appraiser. You can also sell it through reputable auction houses, coin dealers, or even online marketplaces like eBay. But always make sure to get the coin professionally graded by services like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, to verify its authenticity and value. So, there you have it, the 1970 D Lincoln penny. While most of them are worth only 1 cent, the rare error varieties, especially the no-mint mark coins, can fetch thousands, tens of thousands, or even more at auction. It just goes to show how exciting and rewarding the world of coin collecting can be. Who knows, maybe you've got a treasure sitting in your pocket change. We're going to dive deep into one of the most fascinating coins in modern U.S. history, the 1976 D Lincoln cent. You might be thinking, what's so special about a penny from the 1970s? Well, you're in for a treat, because this penny could be worth a lot more than you think, potentially up to $1 million. Stick around, and let's uncover the story of this iconic coin. Asterisk before we talk about the value of the 1976 D penny, let's take a quick look at its history and significance. This coin was minted in 1976, which, as many of you know, was the bicentennial year of the United States. The country was celebrating its 200th anniversary, and there was a lot of excitement in the air, especially for collectors. So, what does the D mint mark stand for? Well, it means this penny was minted in Denver, Colorado, where the U.S. Mint produces many coins. The 1976 D Lincoln cent doesn't carry any major design changes compared to other years, but it holds a unique spot in the hearts of collectors. Now, you're probably familiar with the classic Lincoln cent design, Abraham Lincoln's portrait by Victor David Brenner on the obverse, that's the front of the coin, and on the reverse, the familiar wheat ears design, which was used on pennies until 1958. But the 1976 D penny stands out for a different reason, and that reason is the potential rarity and valuable errors that exist within some of these coins. Asterisk when it comes to collectible coins, one of the most important things to understand is the concept of error coins. These are coins that were made with mistakes during production, and they can be worth significantly more than regular coins. With the 1976 D Lincoln cent, there are certain varieties and errors that are of particular interest to collectors. Some of the most sought-after error types for this year include: a double die error occurs when the coin's design is struck more than once, slightly off-center. This creates a noticeable double image. In the case of the 1976 D, the DDO can be seen on Lincoln's features, especially on his beard and the motto, "In God We Trust." Coins with this error are very rare and can fetch a premium price. Another type of error involves cracks in the die, which leads to a small raised line on the coin's surface. While this error might seem minor, it can still greatly increase a coin's value depending on its rarity and condition. These happen when the coin is not properly aligned during minting, and the image is struck off-center. An off-center strike on a 1976 D penny is incredibly rare, and collectors will pay a high price for such specimens. Now, these error coins are the key to why this particular penny can be worth thousands, tens of thousands, or even more. Okay, so now you're probably wondering, how much are these error coins worth? Well, as with any collectible, it all depends on the condition and type of error, but here's a general breakdown of what you might expect in the current market. Regular 1976 D Lincoln cents in good to average condition typically range from 1 cent to 10 cents in value. But don't be fooled, this is the value for a standard, unremarkable penny. 1976 D double die obverse, DDO, can sell anywhere between $50 to $500 or more depending on how noticeable the double strike is. Die cracks and off-center strikes can increase the price anywhere from $10 to $100 for minor examples. More pronounced versions of these errors could push prices much higher. So, in general, a standard 1976 D penny isn't worth much more than its face value, but error coins or coins in mint state condition, meaning they look as if they just came out of the mint, can bring in a pretty penny themselves. Asterisk. Now, here's the exciting part. The potential of the 1976 D penny to reach that $1 million range. The concept of $1 million coins isn't just a fantasy, it's a reality for rare, high-grade error coins. So, what would it take for a 1976 D penny to reach the $1 million mark? Well, to put it simply, extremely rare errors combined with high demand and perfect condition. Let's look at some examples of similar coins that sold for large sums in the past. Error coins like the 1937 D three-legged buffalo nickel and the 1955 double die Lincoln cent have sold for hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars at auction. The reason? The rarity and sheer demand for these coins among collectors and investors. For a 1976 D penny, if it were to have a flawless double die error off-center strike or some other incredibly rare feature, and it was in mint condition, MS 67 or higher, it could potentially fetch up to $1 million or more in an auction, particularly if it's sold to the right collector or investor with deep pockets. It might sound incredible, but this is the world of rare coin collecting, where the value of a coin can skyrocket if the right conditions are met. Asterisk. If you're out there hunting for your own 1976 D pennies and you want to check if you've got a hidden gem, here are a few tips to help you spot the valuable ones. Ensure that the D mint mark is clearly visible and not worn down. The 1976 D penny should have a strong, distinct mint mark for it to be of potential value. Use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe to check for doubling in the design. Pay special attention to Lincoln's features and the inscription, "In God We Trust." If you see a double image, that's a clear indicator you might have a DDO. The better the condition, the higher the value. Look for signs of wear, scratches, or discoloration that might lower its market value. Coins in near-perfect condition, graded MS 65 or higher, are much more valuable. If you're unsure, there are tons of resources like the Red Book and online auction sites where you can check current prices and see what similar coins are selling for. Asterisk. So there you have it. The 1976 D Lincoln penny, while seemingly just another penny from the 1970s, can actually be worth a lot more, thanks to error varieties and the rare condition in which they're found. Whether you're collecting for fun or hunting for that $1 million find, remember that rare coins are out there, just waiting to be discovered. If you found a 1976 D penny or any other valuable coins, drop a comment below and let us know what you found. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell for notifications on all things coin collecting. We're diving into an exciting and rare topic, the 1984 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny. You might be wondering, why is a penny from 1984 worth so much? Well, that's exactly what we'll be exploring today: its history, its rarity, and most importantly, its current market value, which could be in the millions. So, let's jump right into it. Let's start with a little history. The Lincoln cent has been in circulation since 1909, and over the decades, it's gone through many design changes. But today, we're talking about a coin from the year 1984. This penny features President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner, and the reverse features the iconic Union shield, a design we're familiar with today. But here's the twist, the one we're focusing on today is a 1984 penny with no mint mark. Normally, pennies minted in Philadelphia would feature no mint mark, while coins made in Denver or San Francisco have their respective mint marks. The mint mark indicates where the coin was produced. But in 1984, something interesting happened. Some pennies were released without a mint mark, and collectors immediately began to notice this anomaly. So, why does this 1984 penny with no mint mark stand out so much? Well, that's because the U.S. Mint produced the vast majority of pennies in 1984 at the Denver Mint. These coins are easily identified by their D mint mark. However, a small number of 1984 pennies were mistakenly struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and they were released without any mint mark at all. This small error makes them extremely rare. In fact, it's believed that only a handful of these coins exist, and the rarity of such a coin skyrockets its value. Think about it, this isn't just a regular 1984 penny. It's a mistake, an error coin. And as we all know in the world of coin collecting, errors make for some of the most valuable pieces in the market. So now the question is, how much is this penny really worth? Let's talk numbers. As of recent market evaluations and auctions, a 1984 no mint mark penny in good condition can be worth anywhere from $10,000 to $50,000. Yes, you heard that right, thousands of dollars for a penny. And if the coin is in mint or near mint condition, that value could soar even higher, reaching into the six-figure range. There have even been reports of high-grade examples being sold for over $200,000 in specialized auctions. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. In extremely rare circumstances, a 1984 no mint mark penny could potentially fetch a price in the millions. Of course, these would have to be in perfect condition, with high collector demand, and ideally, backed by provenance from well-known collectors or institutions. But what exactly determines how much a coin is worth? Well, here are the key factors that influence the value of a 1984 no mint mark penny. Coins are graded based on their physical condition, from good to proof or even MS 70, mint state 70. The better the condition, the higher the value. The fewer there are of a coin, the more valuable it is. Since these coins are so rare, they are considered highly collectible. The history behind the coin and its market demand also play a huge role. Coins with documented histories from famous collections or auctions will often fetch more. Error coins are often more valuable than regular coins due to the story and rarity behind them. Now, if you're out there hunting for this rare 1984 no mint mark penny, here's how you can spot it. First, check the date. If you see 1984 and there's no mint mark under the date, you might have one of these rare coins on your hands. But remember, you'll need to make sure it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. This can be confirmed through a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. And to be 100% sure of the coin's value, you'll want to get it graded by one of these trusted grading organizations. They'll assess its authenticity and assign a grade, which will determine its market value. So, there you have it, the 1984 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny is one of the rarest and most valuable pennies in the world. If you happen to come across one in your change jar or while hunting through your collection, make sure to check it carefully. You might be holding a small fortune in your hands. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare coins, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more coin collecting tips, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. And if you have any questions or if you've ever found a rare coin, let us know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your stories. We're going to dive into something that might just surprise you, the 2006 Lincoln 1-cent penny. You may have one of these coins lying around in your collection or even in your pocket right now, but did you know it could be worth a lot more than just 1 cent? Stick around to find out how this seemingly ordinary penny could fetch you thousands, or even millions, depending on its unique characteristics. Now, let's take a close look at the 2006 Lincoln penny. At first glance, it looks just like any other cent. It features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, and the famous Union Shield on the reverse. But if you've been collecting for a while or have an eye for rare finds, you might just discover that there's more to this coin than meets the eye. The 2006 Lincoln penny is part of the long-running series of coins minted since 1909. It was struck in 2006, during the time when the U.S. Mint was preparing to phase in the redesigned Lincoln pennies, including the introduction of the Union Shield design in 2010. However, this coin isn't just valuable because of its date. What really makes the 2006 penny stand out is its minting process and the conditions under which some of them were produced. But before we dive into that, let's talk a little bit about how most pennies are made. As with all U.S. coins, the 2006 penny was minted using copper-plated zinc. The U.S. Mint facilities in Philadelphia and Denver were responsible for producing this coin, but here's where it gets interesting. Some pennies were made with unique errors, and these errors could drive the value through the roof. Alright, so you might be wondering, what makes the 2006 Lincoln penny so special? While most 2006 pennies are worth exactly 1 cent, a few key factors can dramatically increase their market value. First, let's talk about the no mint mark variety. While most of the 2006 pennies have the mint mark D for Denver or P for Philadelphia, the ones minted in Philadelphia and not marked with a P are what you need to look for. These no mint mark pennies, despite being common for other years, are rare when it comes to the 2006 issue. In fact, the lack of a mint mark adds a level of intrigue and rarity to these coins. Now, while a standard 2006 penny might be worth only its face value, if you've got one with a rare error or unusual feature, that could change everything. For example, if your 2006 penny features an off-center strike or a double die, which occurs when the coin dies make contact with the planchet multiple times, you might have a coin worth thousands of dollars. Double dies are one of the most sought-after errors among collectors. Some of the most valuable 2006 pennies include those with die cracks, misprints, or even a full copper planchet. These are the kind of rare finds that can cause prices to skyrocket. So, what kind of money are we talking about here? Let's break it down by condition and rarity. For a standard 2006 penny, you're looking at its face value, just 1 cent. However, if you happen to have a 2006 no mint mark penny in mint condition, it could fetch you anywhere between $10 and $30 depending on how well preserved it is. But things really get interesting with the error varieties. For example, a 2006 off-center penny can sell for between $100 and $500 in great condition. If you've got one with a double die error, the value could jump to several hundred to a few $1,000s. And, for those extremely rare finds, say, a 2006 penny with a full copper planchet error or one that has been perfectly preserved with zero signs of wear, the value could soar into the tens of thousands. In some exceptional cases, these coins can even break the $100,000 mark or more. But wait, the holy grail of these pennies? Some graded and certified 2006 pennies with unique features or rare errors can end up reaching millions of dollars in certain circumstances. Yes, you heard that right, millions. Now that we know the value of these coins, you might be wondering, how can you find a 2006 penny that could be worth a fortune? Start by carefully inspecting your pennies. Look for mint marks, errors, and signs of wear and tear. A magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe will be your best friend here. Once you've found your gem, have it graded by a professional. A certified grading service like PCGS or NGC will determine the quality and rarity of your coin, and that's when the real value can be assessed. Once it's graded, you can either sell it through a trusted coin dealer or auction it to the highest bidder. Some online marketplaces, like eBay, also offer great opportunities to connect with collectors who are looking for rare and unique coins. So, the next time you come across a 2006 Lincoln penny, don't just toss it aside. You might just have a hidden treasure on your hands. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you won't miss any of our future coin hunting tips and tricks. Let me know in the comments below if you've ever found a rare coin and how much it was worth.